I don't know how long the lead will last if this many people get hurt. Like, this shit's type crazy. The W has a crazy amount of injuries right now. Like, all these people injured right now. Near God never predicted that an injury in the WNBA will make the front page of a national newspaper. And you see it says WNBA without Clark, lead feels the hurt. Told y'all don't see much headlines around, like, outside of, her at the Pacers game and shit, but y'all don't see much headlines, do you, around the W? So I was trying to tell y'all. Y'all see something. The W's injury report list is so crazy right now to the point I don't even know how the lead will last. All right, look, you got Atlanta Dream. They got this. Connecticut Sun got their fair share of injuries. Paige Beckers for Dallas out. I think her shit is concussion. That should look bad. I'll show it in a second. You got Tiffany Hayes out. Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, and CC all out. He says 2 players out. Sparks, Rickea Jackson, Cameron Brink, Mercury, 3 out. Storm out. I think she's out for the year. Katie Lou, and then even Washington. So everyone's dealing with injuries, and it's crazy because I think everyone knows that women get hurt more than men. NBA is an 82 game season. Them people realistically for the regular season are gonna play like 50 to 60 games. The W is a 44 game season. If you fuck up and if you miss 7 games, your season might be over with. You might, let's say y'all getting like a 5 game losing streak. You might not make the playoffs. That might be it. So the Fever had to get a guard from Hardship because they're missing CC, and I think Sydney Colson going to play tomorrow. But on the 30th, Sydney Colson went to the locker room after a leg injury. She tried to do a behind the back, lost the ball. The person went right at her leg. Paige Beckers, I think she's going to be out like at least 3 games because there's no doubt in my mind this is a concussion. Just gaining momentum. She's going full. So she's right at the point where you're about to go full, right? Boom. Hit her right in the head. Fell right to the ground. So she probably don't even know where she's at. Definitely has a concussion. I'm surprised nothing happened to her. She different.
It's not going super well. Paige Beckers is out on percussion. Paige Beckers is out on concussion protocol. My God. Paige Beckers is out on concussion protocol for at least the next 2 games, dependent on after that. Obviously, like how it goes, if she's passing her tests, etc., etc. Caitlin Clark is still out. She's about 4 days down to her injury. Sid Colson went out in the beginning of the Fever game, their backup point guard. She did not return to the game. Now Sophie Cunningham just went down in the 4th quarter, had to be helped off the court, can barely walk. Fee is listed as questionable for tonight's game. Hopefully she's good to go. I'm guessing we're going to see how it goes in warm-ups. Alicia Clark is out with an ankle injury tonight, so she's not playing for the Storm. Alyssa Thomas, who hasn't missed a game in 2 years, is out tonight. And we're just like injury after injury after injury. And let's get these women healthy. It's only May. We have a whole season to get through.
I saw someone say like women should play 60 games a year. Fuck no. 60 games a year? You crazy? You know what happened if they try to do a 60 game season? You wouldn't have no players to play in the playoffs. 50 games max. Like after 50 that's too much in my opinion. Increased amount of games they play, 50 should be like the limit. Like after 50, no more. That's it. They already dealing with all these injuries, and it's like, isn't a W a 44 game season now? It's only 44 games, and they already dealing with this, not counting the playoffs. That's kind of like, man, So, and it's not just anyone getting hurt, it's players that they need for viewership. So it's Paige, CC, Fee, like players they need to keep people tuned in. They're already getting hurt. And I think Paige probably be out another week. CC maybe another week or 2. So it's getting kind of crazy. But luckily, no one has had a season-ending injury. They don't take care of this. That could happen. God forbid, but I'm just saying, right? So the update, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham are each out for tomorrow's game against Washington, but Sin Colson isn't on the injury report. Fever will have 10 total players available tomorrow, including hardship player, hella guard. They're missing CC, Sid, potentially, like most important guards. All they got right now is, for real, Kelsey Mitchell. They were forced to get somebody from hardship, and she's actually a pretty good player. I don't know how well she'll fit, with the Fever, but if she does what she's supposed to do, she might be able to stick around or get another opportunity elsewhere.
We're down in numbers, but we're looking at adding another player for a replacement player, help us with our numbers and try to get people healthy and try to get a full roster back together. I mean, games are still coming, so it's going to be an adjustment, but we have a good group. We have good depth, thankfully, so that should help us.
Are you hoping to have that player before Tuesday's game?
We're hoping, yeah.
Have you ever been through any circumstance this early into the season, stuff where you're battling 3-4 down? Like, how unique is it?
Remember, I don't, probably, but I mean, because, the WNBA, I mean, the roster sizes are so much smaller. So when you get down to the 11-player roster and you lose 3 players like that, now you've got to add a quick player to your roster. So, it's something that you just deal with being in this league, with the roster sizes being a little bit smaller, and that's why you try to build for depth.
This may be another perfect example of where the W, if they could get to where they had, like the NBA has 2 ways, but maybe bump player development roles, and they could be available in times like this. Would that be ideal?
I mean, just more bodies would be good.
I don't understand that, though. She said more bodies would be good. Y'all push away all the fucking players. Just cutting people left, right. They be doing people so foul to W. They'll bring somebody on. You'll have a good preseason, like the Deja Kelly situation, right? You have a good-ass preseason. They get all the clout from you. Like, let's say you have a big following like that one player, and then you go on Twitter one day, you get the load, new tweet, whatever, and it says, thank you for whatever, and it has the player with the graphic. And I'm like, God damn, I'll be tight. So it don't matter. It don't matter if you a top 5 pick, top 3 pick. They don't give a fuck. Like, they cut people left and right. So, and then the older vets don't retire. Like, they try to play till they 40. It took Diana like 50 years to retire. So it's crazy, bro. But the injuries are a major problem.
Valuing something like Gnosis system has been here, is it maybe best player available at that position?
I think best player available at that position who can add value on both ends of the floor.
What Carter available? Carter better than her. So I don't know. There's no way she's the best player available. I think if Carter's available, she's 10 times better. But I understand why they wouldn't sign her. But
Certainly we need to have someone who can add value on the defensive end. We got to have somebody who can help us navigate and get into offense, handle the ball. Since we're down to 2 healthy guards, the goal would be to get everybody kind of back to their natural positions if we can. But at the same time, we can't control everything, so we'll get the best player that we can get that will fit into how we play.
Do you anticipate signing a hardship player before Tuesday's game?
I hope so. I hope so.
Anything else?
What does simplify mean in terms of what this group is? That more so what you're calling out there and more read and react, or what does that mean?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more calling structure in our offense, a little less reading, so that we can kind of predetermine a little bit more. Maybe giving 3 or 4 actions or sets that they can run, as opposed to giving them 6 or 7 options. So we simplify it that way. Who's on the floor with whom, and then same thing defensively. We'd like to get to where we can cover different players different ways, but we're going to have some players playing out of position, so we've got to simplify it and just get really good at 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, DeWanna talked about kind of just not being in a rhythm after Friday's game. What do you do with all of these injuries and potentially bringing someone in to try to get into some semblance of a rhythm?
I think the simplifying hopefully helps that. Giving them just a couple of things that we can focus on. We continue to really rep over the last 2 days on both ends of the floor. Knowing that some players are going to be playing out of position and freeing them up to stay aggressive and just play. So that's the fun, challenging part of the coaching situation is still putting them in positions to be successful while it might be a little bit outside their comfort zone.
I'm a little worried about the Fever because they lost to the Connecticut Sun. The Sun aren't ass though. Like they got a good coach. Like the coach doing a good job with them. Their record doesn't reflect, them. They run some good sets. They actually got a decent some good shit. I'm not gonna lie. But compared to a team like the Fever, I don't understand how they don't. I understand why they lost. They didn't have their best player, but even with her gone, there's no excuse for that. Like, I'm sorry. Not to mention, if they can't figure out a way to start winning games without her on the floor, that's also a problem too. And then the Rickea thing, I'm confused on that. Isn't she's out due to injury or something happened with the Sparks? I don't know. I don't really understand that whole situation. I'm not with like all that. I keep shit hoops, but I'm actually genuinely curious now.
So the drama basically boils down to the fact that the new game plan set up by the LA Sparks' new head coach sucks. It basically involves Kelsey Plum and De'Arica Hamby having to play the majority of the game, and if they have a bad game, well, the Sparks will not win. Because she is not utilizing all of her pieces, and she's not utilizing the pieces she does play effectively. And where does that leave the arguably second best player on the LA Sparks from last season, Rickea Jackson? On the bench, playing very limited minutes.
Wait, I thought she played limited minutes due to concussion protocol. I didn't know this. That's interesting.
In fact, she didn't even play in the last game for personal reasons, which people are assuming has to do with this coaching staff. As you can imagine, LA Sparks fans and Rickea Jackson fans are pissed. And they're vocalizing this frustration, but one person in particular, her name is Kayla, on Twitter, is vocalizing it a little louder than others. The thing about this is, the internet is convinced that Kayla and Rickea are friends. That being said, Rickea has already tweeted out that her and Kayla are not friends, they just happen to be mutuals on the internet. Well, Kayla kind of went off on the internet. She says things about the coach, she says things about Hamby, who she sometimes refers to as Ponytail. She basically says Rickea is not happy, Rickea needs to be traded, Rickea wants to be traded, and on top of all of that, Hamby sucks because Hamby went through all of the things with my Las Vegas Aces, and yet she's letting the organization do the same thing to Rickea. Now, if you don't know what's going on between Hamby and Las Vegas, basically Hamby got pregnant, and then she accused the Las Vegas Aces of doing terrible things to her that ended up in her being traded to the Los Angeles Sparks. I stand with Hamby in that situation, even as an Aces fan. Moving on. And because she was riding Hamby so hard and she brought up the Aces lawsuit, this led people to logically think that Rickea was pregnant. Kayla did dispel that by saying that we were dumb for thinking that that's what she was implying. However, the internet took off, Twitter did its Twitter thing, and so that led us to Rickea being the funniest person alive. It's a girl! Bro, we get lighthearted drama in the WNBA too?
Okay, well, all right. I don't care about the other shit, but for the hooping portion, damn, I thought the Sparks were actually a good fit. I'm trying to think like NBA to NBA, WNBA comparison because I'll be covering both. I watch both now. Connecticut Sun would low-key be a good fit. I'm not gonna lie. So maybe that's where the Chicago Sky rumors came from, but I don't think the Sky would be a good fit for her. You watch how the Sun play, I think she would fit well with the Connecticut Sun. I like how they're using Mabry. She found her lane with them, so I think Rickea will be a good fit there. That's just me. I know the popular choice is going to be like Chicago, but it's not really because of, how she actually plays. That's because they want to pair her up with like Angel Reese and all that other shit. In Dallas, they want to pair her up with Paige. But realistically for her game, I think the system the Connecticut Sun run, she might be able to go over there and kill. I'm not going to lie. But I didn't know all that. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, nonetheless, WNBA, they're having some injury issues that need to be solved. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section. And as always, it's your boy.